You ever look at someone and just think, why are you like this? Like the guy who has to have his pens perfectly lined up, or the friend who literally cannot stop biting their nails. Have you ever thought like, why are they like that? Now, most people think, their personality is just who they are, but Freud, this absolute madman from the 1800s, he had this theory that will actually wreck your head. He called them psychosexual stages. And basically, he argued that your entire adult vibe was baked into the cake by the time you were 5. All right. And the way you handled your business back then, it's why you're acting like a weirdo right now. It's heavy, but I'm gonna break it down to you in a simple term so you understand. So, all right. So, year one, it's the oral stage. When you're a baby, your whole universe is obviously your mouth, right? You eat, you cry, you suck on everything. It's how you feel safe. But Freud says if your parents messed up, like if they were too strict or too clingy with feeding, then you get stuck. The WTF part, though, is if you look at adults around you, the ones who, smoke, chew on their nails, or, the ones that just cannot stop talking, Freud would say that they're basically overgrown infants still looking for that comfort that they missed out on. They're 30 years old, but mentally they're still reaching for like a dummy to suck on. All right, I think that's a good metaphor. And then you hit ages 1 to 3, and that's the anal stage. And yeah, okay, it sounds like a joke, but listen, this is actually the first time in your life where you actually have power because you're learning to use the bathroom. It's the first time the world asks you to perform or control yourself. And if your parents were drill sergeants about potty training, then you grow up needing to control, well, everything. Basically, you're holding it in emotionally and physically forever. Everything has to be perfect or you lose it. Think of it in that way. But what if your parents didn't care at all, or your caregivers? Then maybe you're the person, who has a car full of old fast food bags, and you never learned that boundary. So you just let the chaos fly, pun intended. Now, ages 3 to 6, that's the phallic stage, and this is where Freud gets really out there. He talked about this thing called the Oedipus complex, if I'm saying that correctly. But he basically thought little kids feel this weird way with their parents. There's a sort of rival between them. Now, to fix that, weird tension, you start copying them. You start copying your caregivers. You take their values, their rules, and you just swallow them whole. And that little voice in your head that tells you you're a failure or that you're doing something wrong, okay, that voice? That's not even you. That's just the version of your parents you built in your head when you were like 5. You're literally living in a house built by a toddler's logic. Maybe that's something you guys want to think about. After that, things, chill for a bit. The latency stage, all right? You just want to play games and you ignore everyone. But then, puberty, the genital stage. This is the final boss. All those little glitches from when you were a baby, they come back to haunt you. If you didn't resolve the potty stuff or the mouth stuff, it shows up in how you handle stress and people for the rest of your beautiful life. Now, Freud basically thought we're all just ghosts of our childhood selves, walking around in adult suits, trying to finish, business we started 2, bloody decades ago. So are you actually making your own choices, or are you just reacting to stuff that happened before you even knew how to read? And I find this really like dark. Next time, if you see someone losing their mind over a tiny mistake, just remember, they're probably just stuck in stage 2, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm gonna go stare at a wall and rethink my life. Catch you guys later.